everybody. This is James from Easterseals, and today we're going to talk about the most ancient type of weapon, a stick. Maybe a rock, I'm not sure. But this is not just any type of stick. This is known as an eskrima stick or a cali stick. They're kind of interchangeable, and they're usually in pairs. These are called eskrima sticks. And these are typically used in the Philippines as a type of martial art. Now, this is going to be part of a three-part series this month in which I'm going to talk about how to kind of use these. Now, what's great about the Cali sticks is that once you kind of know how to use these, you could essentially do a lot of these techniques with just any type of sticks. Now, obviously, these are the best because of the most weighted and everything, and they flow better. But I mean, a lot of the techniques that you can do with just regular sticks. And a lot of these techniques you can do without them as well. They kind of incorporate martial arts in general. Now, for this one, I want to talk about the stick in general. What's good, what's bad about it. As a self-defense weapon, these are okay. They're great if you have nothing else to use, but they also have some limitations. First of all, if you don't really know how to fight with a eskrima stick or just a stick in general, you're probably better off just fighting with an open hand. For example, let's say that this guy right here is my enemy. Now, with an eskrima stick, right here is like the golden area to be because I can hit him perfectly here. But if I'm way over here, all of a sudden I'm out of range. So I have to be in this range and maybe this range. But once I get closer, this thing's actually pretty useless. Now I can kind of hit him right here, but you might as well just punch him at that point. So the problem with these sticks is that here is great. Here, in fact, is deadly. If you connect somebody right here in the head or even the shins, it's great. But if somebody is charging at you, you may get one shot. So you got to understand distance and knowing exactly kind of when to go with these. There's a lot of drawbacks, especially if you can't fight close combat with these. Whereas with like a knife or something, if I'm right here, I can actually still fight pretty well. And then I'm safe over here, but there's only this is a great mid-range weapon, which is kind of awkward. Where like a gun is more of a far-range weapon, and that has some benefits, but a mid-range weapon is kind of awkward at times. However, I just want to preface that before I begin, because some people think these are great weapons, and they can be, but there is a lot of drawbacks, and people don't think to realize about them, especially with self-defense batons and all that stuff. They're not the best self-defense weapon. A better self-defense weapon would probably actually be pepper spray. Pepper spray, you can hit them with 20 feet away, close range, far range, mid-range, and all you have to do is open it up and like that. Whereas this, you need a lot of training to effectively use this. With that being said, it is still fun to learn how to fight with these. They really help understand martial arts mechanics and movements pretty well. So with the basics, and we're just going to focus on one, the next lesson I'm going to be focusing on an additional stick. But the way that you hold these actually is very loose on your hand. You don't actually want to hold them like this. You want to kind of hold them lightly on your shoulder. And all you're doing is you're just extending your arm out. And that's it. Now, I got to be very careful because I don't want to break a window. But you're holding it like this. And when it's ready to go, you just let your arm extend. You don't hold it very tightly. In fact, the looser you are, the more power you're going to get. If I'm really tight when I do this, I'm fighting against my own body. This is just an extension of your arm. It's almost kind of like a whip. You're just kind of whipping it out. You hold it in, and we come out. And I hold it in like this. Nice over my shoulder, nice and loose. Because another reason why you want to do this, if I'm directly at you, it's very kind of hard to see that. But if I'm out like this, you can really see it coming pretty fast. But if I'm right here, that's actually pretty hard to see. And you have to kind of do a little bit of an arc. But like you're not getting a lot of power. But I mean, if you want to pop them really quick, I guess not a bad idea. But right here, I can come in and hit it pretty well. So you want to have it nice and loose on your shoulder. Now what I'm saying is, you can do this with pretty much any stick. So if you have like a stick about this size, you're walking in the woods, and somebody comes at you and you rest it on your shoulders, it's pretty good. And also, it kind of tricks people. It doesn't seem like you're ready to strike. Like right now, I'm ready to strike. My hand's out, but this is nice and loose. Like, hey, what's going on? Boom. It's not that bad. I don't have to fight like this. Now, I know this looks intimidating, but this is actually much worse because that wind-up is so obvious that you're probably just going to get out of range. But right here, I can come in and come in. Now, I also like, if I'm really close, I can maybe pop them with that. But at that point, you really don't want to be in grappling range. You might as well just throw the stick away if you're that close. Once again, this is a mid-range weapon. It only works in mid-range. Far range, I'm going back over here. I can't hit anybody here. I'm not going to throw it. That's silly. And then right here is not great. I might as well just drop it. It's useless at this point. So that's why it kind of makes it an awkward weapon. But what you should try to do is just this basic combo. You keep it on your shoulder right here, and I gotta be very careful I don't want to hit anything. You go down, this is called the X pattern, and then I bring it up to my shoulder on this side, and I come back down again. See, I'm hitting stuff. Down, back over here, and again. I'm gonna choke up on it. So, down, still hitting stuff. That's the problem with this, is he has a lot of range. So, I'm just gonna use this for now. This is my camera mic, but it still follows the same pattern. So down, and then back on your shoulder, come back again. So X, 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 X. Now I'm kind of looking at my own camera to make sure I have the form right. And I highly recommend that you do that the same. If you can see yourself kind of doing this, then might as well do it. So once you get better at it, you're not going to have to rest it on your shoulder. So after a while, you'll just kind of get used to this rhythm. Now, if you're standing, you kind of throw your hip a little bit, but you can still do this sitting, or if I'm stationary. And you just keep doing this X pattern over and over. Now, that if you're trying to close the distance and someone's coming at you and you miss, all of a sudden you come back in and still hit them. So all of a sudden you can go boom, 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 and come in. Like, it's a whirlwind of trouble if you're coming in. And now if you're going like this, they might run. I do not want to mess with that. Because you will get hit. How much it will hurt depends on where you get hit, but this is pretty bad. Especially if they're winding up every time. I gotta be very careful, because if I hit something, I'm going to get kind of grumpy. But you kind of go in this X pattern. I'm going to go nice and slow. Back. Once again, that X. Bring it back to your shoulder. And then once you start feeling that, then you can start to loosen up a little bit. You don't have to put it on your shoulder. I mean, you can. You can generate a lot of power like that. But nice and loose. So that's part one of this series, just learning about that. Next time we're going to combine this one with the other one, so you can learn how to fight with two of these sticks. And it's a little bit different, and I'm not the biggest expert on this, but I know the basics of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this series on Cali sticks, and I will see you next time.